Today's webinar, we will learn more about 3 new regional grant opportunities. Altogether, they will be providing $1.75 million in funds to organizations in our region. And these are extremely timely opportunities with a deadline for these grants fast approaching, and these deadlines are between October 10th and 19th, and we encourage you to apply as soon as possible. All right, we have our next speaker. It is Dave Mandapat with Comcast Business joining us to share information about their Comcast RISE opportunity. And as I'm finishing up the introduction, Dave, I'd love you to start to begin the process of sharing your screen, and I'll kind of give a little high-level overview. So everyone knows here, Seattle is one of only 6 regions across the country that was selected by Comcast for this program. And we really want to make sure that those qualified businesses will apply to receive one of these 100. There's 100 $10,000 grants, I do believe, but I will let Dave clarify. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And you have to forgive me. I'm normally on Teams, so navigating Zoom is a little bit different. But hoping you see my screen. Is it appearing for you there properly?
We can see it in the kind of the notes section, like in your regular PowerPoint. It's not in the slideshow, but we can see it. Okay.
Okay. Well, good enough. I mean, we should actually. It's going to be better to probably hear me than to read this. And then, of course, I'll send you to ComcastRISE.com at the end of this. But long story short, as of October 1st, and it runs through October 14th, the application window is open for small minority-owned businesses in King and Pierce counties. And Christina said it, but what we're doing is we're giving away a total of $110,000 grants to businesses owned by people of color. And really, they're going to be looking at how were you impacted by COVID. And the other thing that's great about this fund is we're not going to try and dictate to you as a business or businesses that apply for this and win a grant how to spend that money. You all know best how to get your business running again, whether it's paying, utilities and some of the things I heard about as I was entering the call. So let me just punch through some of these slides, and then there is an FAQ. I'll certainly try and answer questions as they come up. But what Comcast has recognized, of course, as many of you have experienced or your neighbors have experienced is, COVID's been devastating. In fact, just personally, I personally lost not one, but I lost 2 jobs because of COVID. Now I'm happy to be working with Comcast Business. So it's impacted everybody. And what a lot of people are unaware of is that, well, first off, small businesses have declined, I think, as a whole by about 20%, but disproportionately African-American businesses, I think, are down 41%. Latinx are down somewhere in the 30 to 35%. And Asian-owned businesses are down about 25%. And so we're trying to do our part just as a corporate citizen and member of the Seattle and Pierce County community to try and give these businesses a shot in the arm, if you will, or just a boost during these difficult times. So the best way to do this is visit ComcastRISE.com. Once you get there, you're going to find the application window. And let me go through this quickly just so you can see from a high level. And of course, there's more detail on the website, but you have to have been in business for at least 3 years, be at least 18 years of age, have a maximum of 25 employees, and of course, minimum of 1. One of the nice changes they made with this program is that you don't have to be a premise-based business. A lot of people work out of the home, so home-based businesses are eligible for this as well. Now, I want to be clear because there's actually 3 things we're offering. The one I've been speaking to primarily here is the RISE Investment Fund, and that's the $110,000 grants, or a total of $1 million. What you'll see there in the 3rd bullet point is around marketing and creative and also tech makeover. So when you go to the website, you'll also see that even if you're not in King or Pierce County, you just have to be within the Comcast footprint, is we're also offering businesses either a tech makeover. A lot of businesses need either security or faster internet or laptops and things like that. It could be hardware or software based. And then the other thing is a lot of companies may be great at what they do, but maybe they need some marketing help. Maybe they need some exposure, whether it be in the form of advertising or a 30-second TV commercial. We're also offering that. So 3 different programs in 2 different windows, which I'll get into here in just a second. So for the investment fund, again, that's the $1 million we're giving away to small businesses in King and Pierce County. The 14th is the final date to get your application in on that one. Recipients, as you see, there will be announced close to Thanksgiving, so around November 27th. The other program, the marketing makeover, I'm sorry, marketing or tech makeover, the deadline I'm going to highlight it here is the 16th. So you have a couple of extra days on that one. I've gone through it quickly, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm hearing that it takes approximately 30 minutes to complete the application. We tried to streamline it, make it easy for businesses to do and to not be too cumbersome. But with that, I'd love to see if there are any questions amongst the group here.
All right, I've got some over here. So the first question asks, are any cities outside of Seattle, but still in the Seattle MSA, eligible for the Comcast Investment Fund? For example, Bellevue, Redmond, Kirkland, Everett, and Tacoma. Or do they have to, go ahead.
No, if you are a King or Pierce County business, which I believe encompasses all the ones that you mentioned, Christina, then you should absolutely apply.
Okay, so it's more regional. It's not tied to one specific city.
Correct. And forgive me, I must have been saying Seattle instead of King. King and Pierce County. Correct.
Okay, perfect. All right. I have another question here. It asks, is Seattle included in this? And I think it is, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, because this is kind of like an East Side branded thing, but yeah, this opportunity is available to Seattle too. All right, our next question is, can a business without an employee, just co-founders, and those are the owners that are bootstrapping the business, qualify?
Well, that's a great question. Here's what I'd say. I'd say go through the process. I don't know that question. It's probably a little more granular than I'm familiar with. As founders, are you not considered employees? If you are, I mean, you might be employee number one. I'll give you a great example. My brother-in-law applied for one of the marketing makeovers. He's the founder. He's the only employee of a company called Public Art Apparel. So he's founder, owner. He wears every single hat, and he actually received a marketing makeover through Comcast RISE. So I hope that answers your question, and hopefully you're eligible under that. But what I'd say is go through the application process. As you enter, it will tell you if as you go along the process, if you're still eligible, or for whatever the reason may be that you're not qualified to receive the investment grant.
Yes, and one thing that I always tell people is, it doesn't hurt to apply for these, because you're definitely not going to get it if you don't apply. So definitely look at the applications. And again, if you have questions, I know one of the questions here is where do they get the application? And I think you want to go ahead and tell them where they can get that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's completely online. So it's Comcast RISE, RISE.com.
Okay, just all one word, ComcastRISE.com.
Correct. In fact, let me see.
Perfect. And we will include that in the follow-up materials as well. So if you forget it or lose it, we'll be sending an email with these slide decks as well as the Q&A.
And Christina, what you said is really important. I've been talking about this program. I've been with Comcast for about 5 months now, and I've heard about it almost since I started with the company. And I feel like I sometimes get jaded by the idea that, hey, we're giving away $10,000. But I mean, I think about what $10,000 means to a small business. And hopefully it means a lot. I was talking to a friend of mine, Lewis Rudd, who is one of the founders of Ezel's Chicken. And he was telling me about friends of his that own businesses. And sometimes it's the difference between being able to buy perishable product, food and whatnot, just to get started again. It might mean getting a repair done on a food truck. So these grants, again, we're not trying to tell you how to spend it. We just want you to spend it in a way that's going to get you up and rolling again, or at least get you to a place of prosperity again.
I see there's Linda asks, can the owner of the business, someone who wears all the hats, she does photography, artist, voiceover artist, apply? She says, I started my business in January 2019 and barely got started and smacked by COVID. What can the funds be used for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So again, I'm going to go to the example of my brother-in-law, Ian's story. And if you like cool shirts, it's called publicartapparel.com. But he is exactly that person. You know, Ian, where he literally will unpack boxes. He works with designers, and he did qualify. So I didn't hear anything, at least in your question, that I heard anyway, that would make you ineligible for this fund.
Yeah. And I'm glad they're asking these questions because there is a differentiating factor when we're talking about the federal grants, because we're talking about different like payroll, paycheck protection program type stuff. So it's nice to know that the differentiating factor, because I think that's why folks are asking these questions.
Yeah.
Another question here. Any tips on what constitutes a competitive grant application? That's
a great question. And I can't, well, the other thing I should say too is Comcast as a business is not the entity that's judging the entries. We're going through a third party just to eliminate any bias that may or may not exist within our company. So that's done through third party. What I understand is, in that the question prior to this one, I think speaks well to it. If you can demonstrate or speak to how COVID has impacted you negatively, and that this grant may be helpful in terms of helping you get back up on your feet, if you will. And again, I understand that businesses are in varying states of success or really needing that boost. I would highlight that.
All right, that's good. Storytelling is a part of this, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
right?
and think about it this way, you know. And again, I don't want to. What I will tell you, again, we're talking about $10,000. Your odds are probably pretty good given the volume of grants we're giving away and the applications we think we'll see. You do want to differentiate yourself, be compelling with your story, be descriptive of what you've been through and how the funds might benefit you. The more detail you can give the people that are reviewing all of these applications will certainly behoove you. So I think, you know, I said 30 minutes, and that's probably accurate. But, you know, if your company would really benefit from this fund, spend the extra time, have maybe a friend or a family member review it, you know, get an extra pair of eyes and see if there's other language or other ways of helping to tell your story that would make your application stand out from others.
All right, I've got another question here. It asks, are there any requirements regarding the use of funds for the grant?
No. So we're going to send this grant to you, and my understanding is that there is no audit process in terms of us saying, oh, you've got to spend it on hardware, computer hardware, or you've got to spend it on food. My understanding is the individual businesses have the latitude to spend it in the wisest way possible to again, propel the success of their business.
All right, there's another question asking, do I need to be a Comcast customer to qualify for your marketing and technology services?
So great question. For the investment fund, you do not need to be a customer. I believe for tech makeover, yes. And I believe also for marketing makeover, I do believe you need to be within our footprint.
Okay. Next question, is Comcast prioritizing any specific sectors like we were hearing from the other two cities?
Are we prioritizing sectors?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't have an answer to that. And I'm going to even bring up a question that came up that I also don't know the answer to, but it may come up amongst this group. So the answer to that is I don't know that answer. I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't know if we're trying to focus on service sector versus technology versus retail. I don't have that answer for you. Another question that came up on another panel I did was, will funds be distributed based on demographic makeup or racial makeup of Pierce and King County? I also don't know that answer. So I can't tell you the distribution of those.
And that's okay. Many times we know these programs are rolling out for the purpose of helping the businesses, but sometimes there's answers that still need, questions that still need to be answered. So and I appreciate you just letting us know that you don't know, and that's okay too. All right, let's see. I'm looking down the list of questions here. How soon can you find out if your business is awarded, and how are the funds dispersed?
Yeah, so the winners will be announced November 27th. And what I can do, and I don't have that answer in terms of what does that mean? Is it an electronic transfer or whatnot? I will find out. And what I promise to do is I'll get back to Christina and the other folks here that have helped me be a part of this call today and send that information out.
Sounds perfect. All right, let's see. I think I want to look through here. I think we've got all of them. And I want to make sure you bookmark this site, oneeastside.org/spark. There you're going to find key resources, information on our one-on-one advising, our weekly webinars, grant opportunities as these become available. So all the stuff you heard here today will be up on that website or that portal as well. All right, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for participating today. We know you're all very busy, and thank you to all those who are listening later. All right, until we see you again, this concludes our webinar for today. Thank you.